Hello. Today, I would like to address the individual level challenges that Granville is faced with and suggest time-tested solutions to them. First, the organizational problem. What exactly are we aiming to address, and what do we want to achieve? We can state Granville's organizational problem as follows. How can a large manufacturing company like Granville be run efficiently with lower production cost, greater employee performance, and higher profit margin considerations? Now that we have articulated the wider problem, let us consider the individual level challenges. 1. The racial stratification of the workforce, whereby African Americans and Caucasians are predominant among the more seasoned employees and management group, and Hispanics are mostly among the plant floor workers. 2. Job insecurity. Granville has been taken over by TES, a multinational company known for buying out companies, combining and merging them for more efficient operations, and sometimes moving their operations overseas to cheaper labor. 3. Trust issues. There is a lack of trust between the labor force and management. We have experienced the leaking of a confidential memo, and employees are now interested in forming a union, something that was previously unheard of at Granville. Lastly, our aging technology. Granville's technologies are outdated and quite labor intensive, which drives up our cost. We also have employees whose skill sets could use some tuning. In a manufacturing company setting like Granville, it cannot be disputed that efficiency is held with the greatest regard, and the issue of efficiency no doubt lies in the hands of the manager. According to Limac, the manager's main role is to design work and then ensure that it is done correctly. To carry out their roles, Granville management will benefit from Henri Fayol's theory of management. Fayol's theory is based on the following 5 functions of a manager. They include planning, organizing, commanding, coordinating, and controlling. More to come on that as I will elaborate on how these functions of a manager can guide our decision-making process. So, who is Henri Fayol, and what is it about his theory? Henri Fayol was a French mining engineer who belongs to the classical management paradigm. Fayol's management theory is a simple model of how management interacts with personnel. It can be used as a guide to productively manage staff and, in the case of Granville, help guide us to our end goal of efficiency. Henri Fayol's management theory includes 14 principles of management. From these principles, Fayol concluded that management should interact with personnel in 5 basic ways, hence the birth of the 5 functions of a manager. Here is a graphical representation of Fayol's 5 functions of a manager. I will go through the individual functions in subsequent slides. Planning is a basic management function. It is the process of thinking about, formulating, and organizing detailed activities that are required to achieve the desired goals and objectives. Henri Fayol recognized this as one of the hardest of the 5 functions of management. Proper planning at Granville is doing the right set of activities at the right time to accomplish our overall efficiency goal. It is important to note that completion of this function will require the active participation of the entire company, from Granville's management group to its labor forces. Granville's planning process will involve management A. Identifying the overall goals to be achieved with input from the entire Granville community. B. Outlining the activities that will lead to the accomplishment of Granville's goal. C. Formulating strategies and tasks to accomplish the goal. D. Delegating tasks. E. Creating the means or resources that are required to complete them. And F. Implementing, directing, and monitoring all planning steps appropriately. The next function is organize. According to Van Vliet, an organization can only function well if it is well organized. To that end, management at Granville must create a mechanism to put plans into action and provide the necessary resources in order to meet the end goal of efficiency. This organized function can be subsumed under one of the subunits of the planning function of management that was previously discussed. Next is command. Granville management must speak with imposing authority on the importance of attaining the end goal of efficiency. When employees have clearly communicated marching orders, that is, they are given concrete instructions of the activities that they must carry out, then Granville optimizes its chances of achieving efficiency. The command function can also be subsumed under one of the subunits of the planning function of management. Now, the coordinate function. At Granville, management can coordinate the achievement of our efficiency goal by actively leading, motivating, and directing the Granville workforce. Proper coordination has the potential to increase productivity and create a positive working environment and the readiness to embrace change. Management coordination also implies establishing open lines of communications whereby employees are comfortable sharing their ideas. And lastly, the control function. Granville management must establish and track a set of company performance standards to help verify whether or not the outlined activities are being carried out in accordance to the plan. According to Van Vliet, control can take place in the following 4 steps. A. Establish performance standards based on organizational objectives. B. Measure and report on actual performance. C. Compare results with performance and standards. And D. Take corrective and preventive measures as needed. The following slide illustrates how the organize and command functions of the original functions of a manager are subsumed under the plan function to create our very own Granville management function. And here I present to you the Granville management function. This customized illustration will be used as the backbone of our concept graphic. The next series of slides present groupings of the concept graphic. Discussing each of the groupings will help us better understand how they fit together. Presented here first are the conceptual variables. You will recognize that these are the 3 Granville management functions of plan, coordinate, and control. Included below these functions, in bullet forms, are the individual level challenges that these functions would most greatly impact. Next are the predictor variables. These are a collection of the three main elements that will spell Granville's success. They include lower production cost, greater employee performance, and higher profit margin. Here we have the outcome variable. This is a variable we ultimately want to achieve in Granville. Our outcome variable of interest is efficiency. To reiterate, the conceptual variables are proxy measures. They are the ideas of what needs to be measured. The predictor or independent variables are measures taken towards predicting the desired outcome. And lastly, the outcome variable, which is predicted by the collective independent variables listed here. This concept graphic represents the proposed relationships between the different variables as denoted by the arrows and their directions. It is important to point out that the curve between production cost and profit margin denotes an inverse relationship between the two variables. For example, when production costs are lowered, then profit margins stand to experience an increase. Now we'll look at the individual management function concepts and how I propose they can serve as solutions in addressing Granville's challenges. Under the plan management function, the two individual level challenges that can be best addressed are racial stratification and technology. Take the racial stratification subunit, for example. Granville management may include in their goals achieving a more racially cohesive workforce. One step towards this is to create the means for the workforce to undergo professional advancement training, and especially encourage the labor force to seize the opportunity. Means here would include making it easy for the workforce to take time off to attend the trainings. We can hypothesize that the availability of advancement training will potentially help close the racial stratification gap, positively influence the performance of those employees who attend the trainings, and increase profit margins in the long run, all contributing to the Granville efficiency goal. A second example is the technology subunit. In this scenario, Granville management may develop goals that would address the technology deficit. An example would be to update Granville's technology. This will, in the long run, reduce production costs, increase profit margins, and make Granville a more competitive company. Moving on to the next management function of coordinate. Under this job function, job insecurity and trust were determined to be the most applicable challenges to be addressed. Under job insecurity, it is hypothesized that when management actively lead and motivate the workforce, there is a potential to increase employee productivity or performance, which positively influences Granville's efficiency goal. Next is the trust subunit. When management takes a more prominent role in motivating the employees, trust will increase between management and the labor force. This will also yield more transparency between the groups and curb the need for a union to speak on behalf of the employees. This trust factor will in turn positively influence Granville's efficiency goal. And now, the control management function, where technology is determined to be the most applicable challenge to be addressed. Under this subunit, all technology improvement measures established to improve the aging technology infrastructure must be tracked using performance standards. This allows for an objective verification of the positive impact of the technology upgrades on employee performance and increased profit margins, which in turn help in attaining the goal of efficiency at Granville. So, why base the Granville solutions on Fayol's 5 functions of a manager? Quite simply, it has withstood the test of time. These management functions have been shown to yield success. It is important to note that upon Fayol's retirement, he left a company previously on the verge of bankruptcy in a financially strengthened position. If the management functions can do that for Commonwealth, it can do the same for Granville. Thank you for your attention.